Hey, you gits? Alright, now it's come to my undivided attention that some of you crop brains has no sogging clue what I'm going on about in these videos. God knows I've been trying to make things more intelligible. I mean, do you gits not hear how slow I've got to talk in order for your stupid Umi talk reads at the bottom of the screen to understand what I'm going on about? But no! Apparently that ain't good enough for a few of you Zogwed Umies, so I finally said, Zog it! I can't believe it's come to this. I'm gonna teach you stupid Umies how to understand the words of the orcs. And maybe even speak it if you squigheads can understand the basic principle of orc vernacular. So sit down, shut your gob, and open your runty little ears. Right, first things first. If you want to understand us boys, there's but one word you gits needs to get into your noodle. And it's the foundation of every single boy in the known galaxy. From bad moons to goths to even the freebooters, there's no other word more important to the boys than Zog. Like a mech boy's favorite building tool, Zog has an utterly disproportionate amount of uses in everyday verbal communications with every greeting. Because as I always say, whether it's annoyance, anger, or glee, never forget the ONG. Ha ha ha. But no matter the situation, Zog always works. It can be used to describe something or a way to give impact to your words. Like, let's say you paid a fistful of teeth to get yourself a new shooter from the Warband's mech boy, and it's just the most beautiful thing you ever did see. And you could say something like, Zog me, that's the best zogging shooter I ever did see. Do you hear that? That's the sound of talking that can tear a zogging hole in a battle wagon. But Zog can also be used in the negative. Like, let's say you woke up realizing that pen boy that was gonna trim up your hair squeak actually ripped your brains from your noggin and put them in his next iteration of a death dread. Granted, death dreads is right killy, but how's you gonna eat squeak pie in a can? So you could say, you zoggin' sogger, when I get my zoggin' hands on you, I'm gonna smash your zoggin' face through the back of your zoggin' head. See, Zog is, without a doubt, the best zoggin' word we orcs got. Now, that got me wondering. Let me grab me human wordy know-what's books. Let's see here. Here it is. I was even a direct translation, no less. Let's see here. The Zog was that? What? What the Zog you on about with them beeps? You mean the one with the Umiez got that can be used for anything in any situation is a word you runs can't even say in public? What's the zogging point in that then? You got a Umi equivalent to the best word that the Orks has got, and you can't even say it. Some stupid Umi logic that is. Whatever. Stupid Umi words. Let's get back into proper orky words with the second most important word to the orky vernacular. Crump. Now I think you lot can understand the meaning based on the context of just the word itself. Crump. It's like a big fish going into the face of that one guy you really zogging ate, right? Well, that's what the whole word's about. Crumping is fighting, but it's not the same as fighting, strictly speaking. Like, if a bunch of Umies got their skinny red flashy talker out and shot a bunch of boys, that ain't no crump. But when chopper boys is chopping away with a clank and a crunch, while some big shooter boys in the back is ripping their talker in a constant stream of booms and snaps, while the thing they shooting at is either loudly squishing or explodes, that's crumping. I guess you can say that the louder you fight, the more crumping it is. So let me put you gits to the testing. Which of these is a crump? Now if you said this one, use a fishbowl git. If you said this one, well then use is one step closer to understanding the refined diction of the Orks. That's the zogging truth right there, mate. Okay, let's see then. We talked about Darker for just a mo, so let's talk about that word. Now, Darker should be easy enough for even you softest of soft-brained squigheads to understand. After all, I see you gits using it all the time at this point. Now, Darker originally came from the sound of what a biggest a big shooter makes. You know. But Darker's anything that can be generalized as a shooter. This right here, this is Darker. So is this, and this, and this. Darker don't discriminate. Either what kind of gun it is, or what it's shooting at. Alright, as much as it pains me, I think I should interject this lesson with another kind of word. A grotty word. word that works for those runts, but unless you use a blood axe, you'd never find a proper boy doing it. Snick or snickin'. Unlike Crump and Dakka, which are proper orky fighting words that come with the connotation of fighting front-facing, Snick is like Crump but wheezier and sneakier. Like chopping a Umiez head is a Crump. Stabbing some Umi in the back when they ain't paying attention, now that's snickin'. You won't hear too many orcs talking about that, but cross? That's the only way to get any killing done at all. So, yeah, if you's a sneaky git, use a snickin' git. The next couple of words you gits probably never even heard of before, so I won't be too upset if you gots no song idea what they mean. First, we's got Wazza. Wazza might be kinda odd cause it sounds a lot like Dakka, but while Dakka is guns, Wazza's the stuff that bullets do. They go fast, and Wazza is another word for speed and other things that gots to go quicks. A good example of this word being used comes from the legendary speed freak Glitzdakka Gutsmech. Winner of the race of the burning wheels, this war boss was the pinnacle of war biking. A perfect combination of Dakka on his bike and speed in his wheels matching the combination of his name, Wazza and Dakka. In fact, Glitzdakka was so legendary as a speed freak boss, there's an official red paint named after him. And as we all know, red ones go faster. Next we got Rock, and you gits probably never even heard this once before, yeah? I mean, despite your tiny human comprehension capability, I don't exactly blame you. See, the word rock is another word for fight, but youths today don't really care for the expanding of their vernacular all that much, so they keep to the overused diction of crump or scrap. So I suppose rock is a bit of an older word, so whatever, youths is youths. But one thing to keep in mind is just like the other fighting words, this one's got a bit of an underlying meaning. Rock means fight, yeah, but it also means more of a chargey kind of fight. It's like fighting before you get stuck in proper, if that makes any sense. Now I know you gets know what we boys mean when we use the word snaz or snazzy, but what about flash? You ever hear that? Well, lucky for you runts, it just means the same thing, just with a bit more intensity. Right, if you ever hear, "Look at me flash, boss," it's not like Umiez's disposition of flashing your wiggly bits to each other, bunch of degenerate plonkers you is, but it's more like, "Look at me being all snazzy, boss," but like bigger. For example, at least some of you runts know what flash kit is, yeah? Well, the thing is, they's got snaz guns, right? Which are their pride and joy, so their snaz guns is all customized, big, loud, and killy. But that's just what makes them snazzy. What gives them flash kits the flash is the decorum that they's got. Old and boss pose, lots of flashing gubbins. Not only is their gun big and loud, but put their snaz guns with everything else they's got, and nowadays flash. Finally, there's an orky word that's been making a new set of rounds with the boys. Word. Now it means weird, but like flash, it's like weird but more so. I think the best way to explain it is comparing a weird boy to a word boy. Now, weird boys is already pretty strange, right? Like they can channel the wheel of Gork and walk into their noggin and turn all that divine power into crackling beams and bolts of green. Or charging themselves up with a bunch of other boys and teleporting them from one place to another in a flash. No, not that kind of flash. Well, maybe it is a bit like that kind of flash. Wait, what was I talking about? Right, weird boys. See, there's a lot that they can do that's a bit weird, but any bosses with their brains know what kind of weird that the weird boys is, right? Well, there's a new kind of weird boy called the word boy. And as they come from the beast snaggers, these is even weirder than the weird boys. They still channel the power of Gork and Mork with their thinky bits, but what those boys do is something a bit more primal. Weird boys do psychic weirdies that are straightforward, like the jump, the crunch, and headbanger. Word boys, though, they do things like roar mork, squiggly curse, and biting jaws. It's just so much weirder. Weirder than a regular weird boy. So there you go. War is like weird, but more weird. Alright, I'm getting bored of all this yapping, so it's time for the speed round. Or should I say, the Wazza round? We's gotta quickly go over all the names for all the other kids in the galaxy. Cause even though there really is only two real factions in the galaxy, Orks and Gits, sometimes we got to go into further divulsions into what kind of Gits we's dealing with. Now these is beakies, cause they got beaks. I think it's based off another stupid-looking Umi design from the old stupid Umi times. And these are tin boys, or bony tin boys as I like to call them, because if you saw me first video, like I know you soggin' did, you'll know why I calls them that, so we's moving on. Umiez is Umiez. Yous is a Umi. Enough said. Now these boys here, these is stunties. Cause they look like Umiez but a bit stunty. So they stunties. Oh, and these gits. We got lots of words for these annoying gits right here. But I prefer scrawnies. Cause I mean, look at them. They so twiggy, how the fuck can they do anything besides dancing around like a bunch of pansies? Incidentally, that's another popular name for these gits by the boys. And these gits right here, these is spikies. Originally I think we called them scrawnies too, but zob me, look at these gits. I think that even we would tell these gits that they need to turn down the spiky bits. I mean seriously, put them next to one of them tall green poke fiends to Umiez got your planet, and you could be forgiven for confusing one for the other. I mean, gosh, they got more spiky bits than the spiky boys. Then there's the spiky boys. Not at all to be confused with them scrawny spikies, because these gits right here put up a proper fight. Especially them ones with them funny looking ears on their butts. Admittedly, this is probably the stupidest fucking thing I ever did see, but Mork's tusks can these boys put up a right good scrap. But I mean, all them spiky boys is better than most either way. So there you go, Runts. A finely detailed explanation of the best way of talking. The orky way. So if you've got any further questions, I really don't care. I'm bored and I need something more stimulating to do. So, as always, you little gits, sup up and zog off!